What's up, family? So I'm coming back to you with another video because we're diving into a huge story. ESPN is making big changes for 2025, and Caitlin Clark might just be at the center of all of it. And this is a game changer, not just for ESPN when it comes to that coverage, but the game changer most importantly for women's sports. So let's talk about the queen of women's basketball, right? Caitlin Clark. Obviously, she's completely revolutionized the game, and we see women's sports in this country, the viewership numbers are skyrocketing and every major network is paying attention. Obviously to capitalize off of not only Caitlin Clark being a phenomenal marketing tool, but obviously if people are looking in regards of watching the league, they're basically going in the trajectory and with the eyes, and in this case, in translation, the eyes are the consumers want to watch. That's why they want to make sure that they capitalize off it and continue to be in the topic of the conversation by staying in the loop of talking about what people want to see. Now, the big deal is ESPN has been talking for a year about launching a dedicated show for women's basketball. With all the buzz around the WNBA draft lotteries, league expansions, and stars like Clark, it's just long overdue. And guess what? They're finally making it happen in 2025, which I'm going to show you guys on the screen as you guys can see right now. So the scoop is ESPN is reportedly planning to launch a daily show dedicated to women's basketball during the WNBA season, right? And it says number 7, ESPN finally commits to a dedicated women's basketball daily studio show during the WNBA season. You have a transcendent audience drawing Clark, a litany of interesting all-stars from Aja Wilson to Kelsey Plum, and an appetite for storylines both on and off the court. If ESPN wants the credit for building women's basketball in America, as it always does, this isn't even up for a discussion given the multiple outlets that it has. If this isn't something that exists next year, the network should be crushed for it, right? So that's huge. And let's be honest, there's been a massive void in WNBA coverage. A lot of people don't cover it. Fans have been turning to YouTube for updates, and now ESPN wants to fill that gap, right? But here's the catch, it's only during the season. Why is the question I ask? Because with the momentum Caitlin Clark in the league is building, why not make it a year-round show? They got stars like Aja Wilson and Kelsey Plum keeping the hype alive both on and off the court, and this feels like a no-brainer, honestly. So, look, 2025 isn't just about women's basketball for ESPN, though. They're shaking things up across the board. First off, they're basically dropping their MLB contract, right? And no more basketball coverage. Yep. So instead, they're focusing on their new direct-to-consumer streaming service called Flagship. And Flagship is going to give fans access to the entire ESPN network lineup without needing cable or even ESPN Plus. It's a standalone. It's going to cost around like $25 to $30 a month. The move is bold and it shows ESPN is an all-in-one on the future of streaming, right? So as you guys see at number 5, ESPN will opt out of its current MLB contract after the 2025 season. This is probably as close to a layup prediction as it gets. Muffet Nathanson said opting out could save Disney/ESPN as much as $600 million in expenses, although most expect a restructured contract. Will ESPN get local games for Flagship? I feel as though they're trying to cut the costs because we know that, Disney just came out. If you guys not know, I fill you guys in a little bit. Disney just basically lost a court case, not won, lost a court case in regards of basically having to pay out their employees at Disney World due to them losing a court battle, right? And they have been underpaid in regards of them basically getting their wages cut, and employees wanted to protest for it because they feel like they should get paid more for the work that they've done, and they have been underpaid, even through COVID and stuff like that. So they basically have to pay out. And I'll show you guys, right? Don't take my word for it. I'll show you guys receipts, obviously, because that's important as I add the context. So as you guys see, Disney World pays its employees a variety of salaries depending on the role and experience. you know, obviously because you have customer service managers and benefits and so forth. But this happened December 16th of 2024. Disney to pay millions in massive wage theft lawsuit. And for many Disney lovers, being able to work for the Mouse House is a dream to come true. Uh, Whether you work in theme parks and help make magic for guests or get the experience to the studio lot in California and walk the halls of Walt Disney, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, for a lot of Disney employees, the harsh reality was nowhere close to the dream job they envisioned, especially when Disney refused to pay them the money they're owed. In 2019, voters in California, where the Disneyland Resort is located, passed a ballot measure that required companies to pay their employees at least $15 per hour since their company received tax rebates from the city. And the fallout, basically, Disney lost the appeals in court because they basically tried to stretch out the court case with multiple appeals, trying to appeal the simple fact that they basically undermined their workers, and they lost the fight, and they never paid Disneyland Resort cast members what they were owed. So the cast members ended up suing Disney for the money they owed plus interest, and now just weeks they raised the minimum wage to $20.50. Disney has agreed to settle, for a historic amount of money. And look, man, basically, according to the agreement, they will pay $105 million in back pay, and the rest of $128 million will be interest and penalties. And the settlement will affect nearly 50,000 employees who work at what is called the happiest place on earth, right? So look at it, man. That's my point that I'm making. So I feel like Disney, because we all know that Disney is tied with ESPN. If you have a subscription with Disney Plus, you'll see, basketball and sports coverage on there. But however, they have to do payouts, is my point, right? And you guys got it because I basically substantiated my point. And I feel like they're trying to cut back and figure out what works more effectively so they can get more money in their pocket from a business perspective, right? So look, the move is bold, like I said, for ESPN, moving on to their flagship, subscription service. But however, I wanted you guys to see, I don't know if you guys heard, but Kevin Hart is set to call NBA games on Amazon Prime. And it's wild to me. Could he eventually call WNBA games too? It's not confirmed, but imagine the energy he'll bring to the league, right? As being comedic as he is and highly energetic in his movies and so forth. But in number 4, it says, let me see. Because I did see that somewhere. Is it Kevin? I think it's, let me see. Tom Beatty will be broadcasting. It's Kevin Harlan, not Kevin Hart. Sorry. So it's Kevin Harlan. I skimmed too fast. So it's Kevin Harlan. Basically, he'll be calling NBA games. It's not confirmed if he'll be calling WNBA games. So it says Kevin Harlan will call NBA games for Amazon Prime. It would be interesting if Kevin Hart, the comedian, would. But Iron Eagle has an agreement in place as one of Amazon's lead broadcasters, and I predict Harlan joins him. A 1 to 2 game calling combination featuring Eagle and Harlan will give the streamer massive instant credibility in the live game space. So there we have it, right? But let's talk about the women's sports revolution, right? Let's not forget why all this is happening. Women's sports is on the rise, and Caitlin Clark is leading the charge. She's a cash cow for the WNBA and a generational talent. ESPN knows this and is finally stepping up. But here's the question, though. Is ESPN going to fully commit to women's sports, or is this just a seasonal experiment? We got stars, storylines, and a growing audience, but if they don't capitalize on this, like I said, from a business perspective, now they'll miss a massive opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So, look, that's the rundown on ESPN big moves for 2025, family. What do y'all think? Is it a seasonal women's basketball show enough, or should they go all in with a year-round format? Comment down below. And are you signing up for the ESPN's flagship streaming service? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit that like button if you got some value from this video, and turn on your post notifications, join the family so you don't miss stories like this. Peace.